Hey, thanks for joining us today. This is always my favorite video of the year to put together. We're talking about the Jefferson County, Alabama 2025 tax lien auctions. This is, in my opinion, the most fascinating market in tax investing. I'm probably partial to that because this is where I got started. But we're going to jump in, look at previous years. We've got a lot of history, a lot of context to show you and put these auctions in perspective. We're going to see how the new system's doing compared to the old system. And we're also going to take a look at what's in these auctions. Uh, what all can we? What are these opportunities like that we're looking at? So I'm just going to jump in and let's just get started. This is the driest part of the video up front. I know this is the slide that's going to bore you if you have seen our channel and watched these videos before. We just have to recap really quickly that Alabama's under two systems, an old system and a new system. Both Jefferson counties, which are Jefferson Birmingham and Jefferson Bessemer, they both issue tax liens under the new system for Alabama. So we're going to lean heavily into the new system on this video since that's, unless you're talking about over the counters now, the over the counter properties for Jefferson Birmingham and Jefferson Bessemer are still with the Department of Revenue. They are tax deeds from the old system. But all auctions going forward, as of what we know today, are in the new system. So let's talk about that. The auction follows a bid down format. It is not a premium bid like the old system was. This means you're bidding the interest rate down. The auctions are held on govies.com and this year, jccal.org. Yes, that's Jefferson Birmingham is not on Govies this year. So literally, let's just recap that. Jefferson County, which is one county, has two property tax divisions or counties within it. They count them as separate counties, Jefferson Bessemer, Jefferson Birmingham. Jefferson Bessemer stayed with Govies. Jefferson Birmingham moved to a new site, and we're going to show you that in this video. So yeah, we mentioned the bid down interest from, I don't know why this in here twice. I guess we really wanted to get that point home. 12% interest rate to start with. And the auction bids down the interest from there. So I bid 12%, you bid 11, 10, 9, 8. And then yes, somebody might bid it down to 0%. And let me just take this moment for an aside on this. The early season auctions in Alabama are notorious for bidding every property down to zero. I think there's a couple reasons for that. One is it's early season. Everyone these investors still have their money, so they're just going to try to buy something and bid all the way down to zero, even though it's not a good idea. Very rarely would you do that unless you really know that the property is going to go unredeemed. So the second reason why the early season auctions bid down to zero, I think it's their size. A lot of those early auctions tend to be smaller, just a few hundred properties. And so if you think about everyone that registers for that auction that's intending to spend, uh, they are going to really not have a chance to exhaust their budget. So it's going to drive the interest rates down. Whereas bigger auctions like Mobile, Jefferson Birmingham, Jefferson Bessemer, some of those counties, Montgomery's old system, but some of the big counties, the budgets for people do get exhausted. And so we see a lot more properties in the big three counties go over the counter every year. Mobile, we see at least 500 a year. Jefferson, Birmingham, and Bessemer, we see a couple thousand every year that don't even get bid on. And the ones that do get bid on don't all go to zero because, again, the budgets don't have a chance to get exhausted because the auctions are so big. So I like these auctions better than the early season auctions because you stand a good chance of getting something at 10% or 8%, or sometimes people get the full 12. And the evidence of that, further evidence, is that things get left over. There are literally properties that no one bids on. So you could bid on those. And my recommendation to you is to go wide on your research, hit all the properties that could possibly fit your criteria, and keep that interest rate bid pretty high. I don't know, set it at 8, 10%, whatever you want. And you're going to pick up a lot of those properties that would have been left over, or you might get a decent interest rate on them too. So enough of that aside, let's keep going. The starting bid is set at the taxes owed plus any additional fees from the county. That's pretty standard. We are now dealing with a 4-year foreclosable lien. If you watched last year's video, it was still a 3-year last year. So not only do you have to get 4 years of foreclosable liens together, or 4 liens together to foreclose, you must hold all the tax liens, which also means 4 might not be enough. There could be a 5th one out there hanging, and you have to go dig it up and find it. So fortunately, in Jefferson Birmingham, this is their 4th year, so there's not a ton of extra years hanging out there. But it's an interesting piece of the law is that you have to have all the tax liens that are outstanding in order to foreclose. As of 2025, Jefferson County, neither Birmingham or Bessemer, gosh, mouthful, neither one of them have provided leftovers for sale over the counter. Every summer we call, every time they tell us we're not doing it. They're just going to hang on to them and hope to sell them later. So, by our calculations, there are thousands of leftovers that the county is sitting on, and lots of tax revenue in limbo there that could be put to good use if they could sell these tax liens. How is the new system different from the old system? We're not going to go too deep into this because other videos we have go way deeper. But let's just say the tax liens from the new system do not allow the purchaser to eject, take possession, or make preservation improvements. So by implication, the old system, you can imagine, does. So if you get a tax lien, don't go start adding roofs and fixing windows. In the new system, you really do need to wait for the foreclosure and before you start messing with the property. If you go add a roof to a property, you just gifted somebody a roof. They're going to redeem and get a free roof on your bill. Another difference is the interest rate starts at 12% instead of 8%. The old system was 8%. New system is bid down. Old system is premium bid format. If you're going to bid in like Lee County, which is Auburn area, or Montgomery, which is of course our capital county, those are going to be premium bid format still in the old system. You go in person and you'll bid the taxes up. So it'll go $1,000, $2,000, on so forth. So it's an entirely different system if you find some of these old system auctions in the few counties that still do them. Most auctions in the new system are online. I think Coleman County is the only one I've seen that continuously has in-person auctions, even though they're in the new system. Jefferson Birmingham is the first one that I've seen to do an online auction that's not on Gubby. So we'll see how they do. And as I kind of touched on a minute ago, the leftovers do not go to the Alabama Department of Revenue to sell over the counter in the new system. In the old system, they would go to the state in a nice consolidated repository and they would sell them. These leftovers do not. It's up to the county to decide if they sell. Counties like Montgomery, I'm sorry, not Montgomery, goodness, Mobile, Talladega, Shelby, some of those counties actually do sell their leftover liens over the counter if they have any. So some of the counties have a nice clearinghouse for that and other ones do not. All right, now we're going to get into the good part. Let's talk about how the 2025 auction looks just compared to some previous years. Interesting enough, the 2025 tax lien auction is the largest we've recorded. I've been able to say that for 4 years in a row. It's the largest for both counties. So yeah, 4 years in a row, we've had oh goodness, more than 4 years, like 5 years in a row. Ever since like 2020, we've had record-breaking auctions every year. For Jefferson, Birmingham at least. Jefferson Bessemer looks like 2021 started the record-breaking ones after that. So another way to look at this, here are the two counties combined into one bar graph. You can see from 2018, 19, 2021. Let's just say this is how it started. This is the old system. Those 4 years, we hovered almost perfectly around like 6,000 total properties between the two counties combined. That's what went to auction each year. So that's how it started. Now, at the end of 2021, we knew we were moving to a new system. In 2022, we got that new system. And so how's it going? Well, I mean, you tell me. Do you think the new system is effective at collecting taxes when this is what's happening? I won't harp on this too much, but it looks like the new system is not as effective as the old system, just to put it in simple terms. 4 years of data on both that we're tracking here, and I don't see any evidence to the contrary. So let's talk about lost tax revenue. If you live in the Birmingham area, Jefferson, Bessemer, any of that the counties here, this should make you not very happy. The total unpaid taxes going to auction. So this year we're just shy of 30 million bucks of unpaid taxes, whereas last year we were just shy of 20 million bucks. That's a big increase. That's more than 50%. Jefferson Bessemer from 5 million to 7.7 million in unpaid. And if you combine that, we're looking at a 52% increase over 2024. Last year it was 24 million and change. This year it's 37 million and change. That's ugly. Whoops, I didn't mean to go quite yet. Lots of revenue there that counties could definitely use. And these tax auctions, in a lot of cases, they do help, but in this new system, it looks like it's not recovering the revenue that we'd like to see. So let's on the brighter news. Let's talk about what type of properties are in the auction. So let's compare. 72% of tax lien auction listings have buildings this year. That's just like a 2% increase from last year. Nothing earth shattering there. But in our tax lien auctions nationwide, anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 is kind of our typical. That being 2/3 to 3/4 of the properties have buildings on them, and this falls right in line with that average. Over 12,000 properties with improvements, and that's most commonly building. I get it. An improvement could be a shed. It could be anything that's fixed to the land that's just adding improvements to it. But 12,000 plus properties with improvements. That's a 20% increase from 2024. And let's talk total auction value on the right side here. Jefferson's at 1.62 billion, Bessemer at 450 million, combined total 2.08 billion, and the average improved property value 137K in Birmingham, 88K in Bessemer. This is just any property with improvements on it. So again, that does it for the first half of this video. We're going to switch over to a live demo and actually take a look at these auctions. And the first thing I'm going to do is put these in perspective for you. This is the Parcel Fair dashboard. Lots of stuff going on here, but what I want to draw your attention to is the right-hand table. And what we're looking at here, let's see if I can get this right. Whoops, wrong thing. 1 second. Let's go back. Basically, the right-hand table are the top tax lien auctions coming up in the next, next month or so. There's some very large auctions. We have Baltimore City down at the bottom with 11,200, Prince George 4,500. There's some large auctions. Mobile 8,700, but Jefferson Birmingham sticks out with 11,900. That's it is the largest upcoming auction at the moment. Jefferson Bessemer, if you count them together, that's also the biggest. But Jefferson Bessemer is right here with a lot of parcels too. Remember, these numbers go down after the auction is advertised initially, so you'll notice the Bessemer one's already climbed down to 5,192. Jefferson Birmingham is actually still at its initial number. And you'll see in the mix here, Lake County, even 7,500. That's Indiana on May 5th. So the next 30 days, there's some massive auctions going on. 70,000 tax liens just in this chunk right here. And so that's going to be an interesting month coming up. Now, in the auction calendar for Alabama, this is also on our site. You can get to the auction calendar here in your tools menu. It's also featured on the top of the dashboard. It's a purple button. Lots of ways to get the auction calendar. This is right here where we stand. The early May is where the two Jefferson auctions are, and it's the darkest green here. It's the thickest month for auctions. We have 29 auctions we're tracking that month, and they're in the early part too. Jefferson Bessemer scheduled for May 6th here on GovEase. And of course, you can click on the list there if you want to go see it on GovEase. And Jefferson Birmingham on a very crowded Tuesday, May 6th, was about a dozen auctions going on that day. And we have, you go to the auction source here, and this is how you would ultimately register is right here. The link under please click here to register for the auction. Once you're logged into the auction, you'll see this. Lots of properties on this list is one way to view this. And of course, on Parcel Fair, let's talk about how this looks on our map. Confession, was always the kid that dumped all the Legos on the floor. I just, this kind of my style is I'm throwing all the properties on the map at once right here. 22,000 parcels that we're looking at. This is just Jefferson Birmingham. Why is the number so high? Well, we left the over-the-counters in the mix. So you're looking at neighborhoods like this where, you could practically buy the whole block if you bought the auction liens and the over-the-counter deeds. It just left that in there just to show you how dense some of the property selection is in the Jefferson County area. So how do we take the 22,000 parcels and whittle this down to something we care about? Well, let's start with our search filters. And right off the bat, let's go to inventories, and I'm going to say let's do upcoming auctions only, and that cuts our number in half. All right, let's not stop there. Let's see if we wanted to see, let's say all we care about is buildings. Let's do improvements. We can choose either vacant land or improvements, and you guessed it, we want to go with improvements, which gives us 8639 left. Let's throw in a minimum value. Let's make sure we're not buying anything too cheap. So let's put a $20,000 minimum value. That cuts it. Well, that didn't cut very much. Let's throw in a $30,000 minimum value. That took a little bit out. Taxes owed. This is an interesting one. A lot of people at their auctions don't want to tie up small amounts of money. It's not a terrible problem in Alabama, but let's just say if we wanted to put a minimum of $600 in taxes, that cuts another 1,000 properties off. So we're getting there. And if we wanted to get really drastic, we could do something like acreage or owner location. We could go for like out-of-state owners that really chunks it down to 1,117. You could even do acreage. Let's say minimum 2 acres. I mean, we're really 64 properties. If that's your strategy, out-of-state owners with 2 acres or above, you're really really specific. But this is I just wanted to illustrate to you how you can use this tool to filter this down and really slice and dice the properties down to something you want to see. So let's just start with this 6,700 properties. Let's go from there. I'm actually going to zoom out of this map a little bit so we can see the big picture. One thing that this is kind of personal preference. You can on the left corner top left, you can click the satellite view if you'd rather see trees and building tops. This can be useful if you're kind of eyeballing neighborhoods and wanting to see like you know this is a good example right here. Remember, we filtered by improvements, but there's no rooftop here. So either the improvement is hiding or the house is gone and the county records are not up to date. So that happens sometimes where the county records show an improvement and you will be hard pressed to find it. So this is one way people like to fly around. It's kind of like helicopter mode and look around the city, especially if you have an area that you're interested in that you're wanting to see. Let me illustrate that. I'm just gonna look for a local landmark. We're gonna say Top Golf. So Top Golf. That's using the jump to location box in the top here. It actually highlights the Top Golf for me next to the stadium, and now I can look around that. If you like that high contrast view, we can go top left and go to map again. And now what we're doing is looking at properties near Top Golf. Well, you have a few to choose from. It's just a block away right here. Uh, there's one we can go look at the report for. It's actually a house. This is a nice looking house, and it says the Postal Service says it is vacant. That means that no one is checking the mail, and we know there's one tax lien available. I just clicked on that, 6,900 bucks, and the value is 226. I mean, this is the kind of house that a lot of you might consider getting for a rental property. It's a 4-1. So let's just keep moving down the page here. We've got the panorama view. Let's click on that, and I can get a great look at this house like that. Not your typical tax property. It's in great shape. And let's just keep thinking through this. This is a new panel, the estimates and comps. This is literally about a week old. But the estimated ARV on this house using sales comps is 134. That's significantly lower than what we saw at the county. So let's go see why. I'm looking at my comparable property sales report here. I can view it. There's a card view if you prefer. Like this view, you can take a look at, or we can look at the table like I had it on before. And now what we're seeing is recent sales in the last year, actually, they're not going as high as that county valuation. So I would have to suspect that being the proximity to Topgolf and some of that new development really helps this property out. You notice some of these sales are half a mile or 0.85 miles away. One's a full mile away. So a lot can happen in a mile. So again, that county valuation being 226 and the ARV 134, uh, I think what you would do as a responsible real estate investor is analyze those comps and decide which ones are fitting, seeing as this property is right next to that parking lot next to Topgolf. So remember, there's a stadium here too. We have a entertainment district right here with the BJCC. A lot of the concerts are there. And this area is exciting because this was the property we're looking at. Just north of it is the Caraway Hospital that is being torn down even as we speak. And why is that exciting? Because they're building a dense residential apartment complex with all new amenities. It's going to be really nice, much nicer than a falling down hospital. So the area has a lot of lift, a lot of things to consider uh, picking up around it. So that's probably why the county values it this high, and the comps having to look, up to a mile away might weigh that down a bit. There are rental comps too on the site now. We can click view those, and this similar story. You can see quarter mile away, 2 miles away, the match percentage here, and what the rents are. So again, as a responsible real estate investor, you should take a look at your comps and maybe even find the outliers, throw them out, So you have square footage here, the 4-1, 4 beds, 1 bath calculation to look at. So a lot going on here if you're getting serious about a property to buy. The next thing I'm going to show you is the purchase options right here, auction source Jefferson Birmingham. We can see all the information about this listing at auction, the taxes due, the location. We can click to register. We can go view the source itself or go straight to the advertised list. And all three of those are going to take you back to this and this. So uh, that's just to help you in the moment if you want to get to that property to go place your bid. On these online auctions, you definitely want to place those bids early. If we wanted to check out the property card at the county, we have several links here. Let's just go with the property details link, and this takes us straight to this property at Jefferson County, and we can go look up more information that just kind of goes above and beyond. We can go years of sales history, tax history, uh, details about the land and the building itself, when it was built. So much going on here that if you're just trying to dig in deeper and learn about this property, these research links on the right side really help you do that. So that's a deep dive on one property. Let's go back to our map and let's switch gears and check out Jefferson Bessemer County. It's often forgotten. 7,700 properties, and we're going to zoom out and take a look at how that looks on the map. As soon as there we go, starting to show up. All right, so basically the way the county sits, you see we have the county outline here. That's for Jefferson County. Jefferson Birmingham there with the little dot on it. Just to the southwest is Jefferson Bessemer. We're talking about uh, Bessemer, Hueytown, Pleasant Grove, Fairfield, Midfield, a lot of these areas. And right now, again, we're looking at over the counters and auction properties together. These over the counter properties are in blue. We walk you through the process to buy those on the site here too. But let's go immediately. Let's filter down to upcoming auctions only, knock out a couple thousand properties. Let's filter down to buildings and improvements there. That takes us down to 3,400. Let's do a minimum total value. Let's do the same thing we did in the other side of the county at 30 grand. As minimum taxes out of 600 bucks. All right, we're down to 2,400 properties. Let's go. There they are. So lots of yellow floating around the city here. We can see, let's just go to Bessemer. That's kind of a well-known area. And let's go satellite again. So this is sort of a downtown area. And you can see this is going to be kind of commercial area here. A lot of these buildings are going to be um, along those lines. So why don't we find one to look at? And actually, let's do something different. What I want to do is I want to try to filter this down even further for my purposes. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I do this a lot. I'm going to do the Amazon fulfillment center. Okay, this is this was a big addition to the area. Okay, and what we see, actually, this is the first time I've seen this particular property. It looks like the Alabama Adventures theme park didn't pay the taxes yet. Okay, so that doesn't mean they won't, but they're late right now. So yeah, this is a little sidetrack here. $5.5 million value, 76 acres, and the tax is due 79,000. We can look at that tax lien here, $79,000 tax lien. This might make it to auction. I have no idea, but Alabama Adventures is on the map for tax parcels. Wow. Okay. Sorry about that. But this red mark here is the Amazon distribution center. So I'm just going to center that on my screen here, and I'm going to show you something you probably don't know about parcel fair. I'm going to keep my auctions and improvements and my values and my taxes, but since I'm centered in on an area of interest to me, I am going to go to this advanced filter at the bottom called Located Within, and this is a radius search. It's going to actually chop out everything that's not within. Let's start with 10 miles. Let's do 5 miles. That was a lot of property. Okay, within 5 miles, there's still 1,500 properties. So let's just say that my strategy is I want to buy rental properties for people that commute to Amazon. Uh, Potential new growth there. I'm going to set my total value limit. I'm going to put it on $200,000, which is in that area a nice rental property. And let's do. Let me drop it because we're getting too many results. Let's go 150,000. Get it even lower. Let's put a minimum at 50,000. So we're down to about 1,000 properties. Uh, we could do out-of-state owners. That gets it down to 123. Let's go with that. So what I've done is, let's just look at this filters real quick. Um, we're talking upcoming auctions with improvements, $50,000 to $150,000, $600 minimum taxes owed, and I chose out-of-state owners to get us a small list to work with. And I did it within 5 miles of the. I forgot to say that part. 5 miles of the uh, Amazon Center. So we're talking about commuters possibly. So what I have, let's turn my contrast back on. Our property's kind of peppering this neighborhood here, where I could be uh, buying tax liens. And frankly, I mean, 89 parcels, I could put bids on all 89 and hope that just one or two of them even pan out. I could set my bid at 8% or something like that. But let's view these results as a list. You see on the right side, I can download to a CSV, view as a list, or save as a list. I'm going to save these as a list and show you another trick. Let's make a new list. We're going to call it Jefferson Bessemer. I don't know if there's 2 R's or not. 2025 auction. All right, another list to add to my many lists. Okay, so now that I'm viewing that list, okay, um, I could literally sort by the value here, take a look at the most expensive one. Let's say that this one with a complicated situation, I can tell it from the owner name. You see that we have a bunch of heirs listed. Let's just say that I don't want to deal with that in foreclosure at the end. I'm just going to remove it from my list. Let's move on down. There's an LLC. I'll take the LLC out too. There's another LLC. So I'm just kind of popping some of these out of my list. And what I'm going to have at the end of this is a list of properties I plan to bid on. Maybe I sort by acreage and say, you know what, anything less than 0.1, I'm going to pop out of here. So 1, 2, those are gone. And let's check my amount due. That's going to be the opening bid. Let's make sure, that's pretty high, 5,400. I'm going to take it out. Let's say, 5,000 is my minimum. So, whatever. 611, remember we set a minimum already at 600, so we're good with that. And yeah, this is going to be my list, I think. So I might work this list. I might go one property at a time and actually check and see if there's photos, comps. And if I don't like this property in my list, you see on the report screen, it's here in my list. I'm going to remove it by clicking that X. And so basically what I've done is I'm curating this list. I knocked out 9 properties. We're down to 80. Well, let's say that I've done the extent of due diligence I plan to do on a tax lien and I'm ready to bid. I can actually export to CSV or even export to the Govies format. Remember, Jefferson Bessemer's on Govies. We can export to that format and go fill in the bid column with my minimum interest rate. Govies has let's just take you to their site. The quickest way is right here on the purchase option. Let's go check out Govies. One thing they do really well is actually training. If you go to, let's see, of course I can't find it now, help and info. There are training webinars. There are even state-specific ones. There's articles, there's videos, and basically I want to understand as an investor, how do I register and upload my bids. And so we get you started on that. We take you right to the doorstep and we help you get your list together so you can upload it there. All you really have to do is again, whatever level of due diligence you're going to do on a tax lien and decide what your minimum bid is. And remember, do not set it at 0%. Just don't do it. You're not going to be happy with the 0% lien that redeems because you just wasted time and money. So pick, again, my recommendation, go wide, bid on hundreds of properties, if not thousands, and set your bid at something like 8% or 6%. I don't know, whatever your minimum interest that gets your attention. But do something that makes it at least worth investing. Just plan on a lot of these redeeming. Plan on a lot of liens redeeming anywhere you invest, and then you're going to be happy with the ones that don't redeem. But that's what I would recommend after looking at a lot of these auctions in Alabama. So I think this brings us to a close. I really, excited to hear how everybody does this year. The auction is one of our favorite things is to hear, success stories or, if you have gripes even about something that went wrong at the auction, tell me about it. I have my own gripes too. I've said some of them in this video. So, yeah, so keep us posted how it's going out there. We will be tracking these auctions daily. We will be removing properties as they redeem. Believe it or not, sometimes properties get added after the advertisement even. So We'll be tracking it here. You'll see it on the auction calendar. You'll see the number go down. You'll see your results here on the map go down. And that'll help you prepare for the auction and not see a bunch of properties that are not going to auction, because we're going to remove them for you. So I hope this was helpful. I know we covered a lot of ground. Uh, Two big auctions, some of the biggest in the nation. And if you like this content, like this video, like it on YouTube, and we'll know that, and we'll know to make more of these. If you want to keep in touch with us, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because you want to get that little notification from YouTube that we put a new video out. And lastly, let us know like how things are going. Reach out to us. We love to talk. You can hit us up on the YouTube comments. You can also go to the contact form on our site. This emails us directly if you go to our contact page, and we'll get back in touch if you want to use email. And if you are a member, we actually have a private Facebook group that you can join. If you're not already a member, join it. And we've got about 1,400 people in there that are talking about this stuff all the time. People way smarter than us who have experience nationwide. So it's a great resource for you. So again, hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.